Niall Horan, welcome.
He's here. Hello.
Welcome to Kiss.
It's good to be here.
Now, let's talk about this new single before we go anywhere else,
Yes.
any further. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's great, man. It's really good. And I was listening to it, and then Slow Hands came on right after. And I was like, oh, damn, there's a real difference here.
I guess there's definitely a difference, but I mean, it's 2 years at the same time. So I've definitely grown and realized what I can and can't do. Slow Hands, I was actually listening to an early version of Slow Hands the other day before it got there. It used to be quite heavy. And
Really?
I kind of toned it back a little bit for the radio. I know I did tone it back a little bit, and just with the success of it in a period where it probably shouldn't have been successful based on what was on the radio at the time, it did quite well, Slow Hands, because it was so different. So I thought, let's be the guy who's different and different than whatever else is on the radio. So I went and wrote "Nice to Meet You" and hammered on the guitars and stuff, and it's just been a fun process, I suppose.
It's really it's a lot heavier. It's a lot deeper in that respect. Do you look at the trends of, okay, everybody's doing A, I want to do B, everybody's zigging, I want to zag, or is it just like, look, this is the song that's come out of me right now?
Well, I knew, as I said, based on Slow Hands, that I could push the boat out a little bit and just go for it and really show, me musically and what I'm into fully, and just go for it. I was brought up in the 90s, 2000s, and you can really hear that in the song.
Yes.
And rock bands
Yes.
and stuff like, and the kind of like the soul dance type thing, which is something that we all kind of listen to, and I think that's why it's resonating with people. It kind of nearly sounds rocky and nostalgic, and
It's almost like an alt kind of like three-piece band in a little bit.
and that's perfect for me. I'll take all of this.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's great.
It is great. It's a terrific single. I also thought the title was interesting. Nice to meet you. You've not really released music. Your last big release, 2017?
Yeah.
Thereabouts. That's a lifetime in music.
I know.
Like 2 years is like literally nice to meet you.
I know, but I know people are doing it so different to me, I suppose. There's some artists you don't even know what single they're on or what album they're on.
Well, they just crank it out every other week just to get a hit.
I mean, that's the way they like to do it, and it's working for them. I mean, it really is. But yeah, I like the touring. I like going away for 6 months and touring, and then spending another 6 months writing an album and doing it that way. It's just different. Some people are different.
And when you put out this single, are you aware of the idea that you're actually going to have brand new fans who incredibly come after like the One Direction fame and your earlier solo work? Like, you literally, Nice to Meet You is legit because some people will be hearing you for the first time.
Yeah, and that's the whole another reason. You always want your audience to grow. You don't want it to be in the same thing all the time. It's amazing that we've got that solid fans, but you're just trying to open out. Older people, every type of person has either said it to me in a street or in a tweet, or that they like Nice to Meet You, and it wasn't something that they were expecting or whatever like that. And even when I toured and I brought out Slow Hands, I noticed the longer the tour went on and the more Slow Hands was around, the older the crowd was getting. I would look into the crowd and you would see people that grew up in the 70s and 80s come to the gig, and stand there with a beer, because that's the kind of music that it was. That's what it really was. My last album was very basically for the older person, I would imagine.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's really interesting that you have to think about that stuff.
I don't until it happens.
Well, no, but to be aware of like your audience is changing with you as you're getting older. It is great to be able to embrace that. Really is something.
Yeah, I guess I think we all kind of have, even including myself, that I'm 26, but I've been doing it. I've been in the industry for nearly 10 years.
You're a vet, man.
It's
like you're grizzly and old now.
It's tough out here in the mean streets. It is crazy that we're thinking like that. That the crowd is older, but people are growing up with me. The fans have been there since I was 16. The same, and they're just that bit older too. I was the same age as a lot of those people. So what you're into when you're 17 and what you're into when you're 26 are two completely different things. So I'm glad that I've kept it somewhat relevant and really matured.
Not only relevant, but actually like blazing a trail, like deciding what your sound is versus trying to hang on to the past, which I think is really awesome, man. It's great. I'd love to play a game with you. I like to do this. It's called First Gig, Worst Gig, Best Gig, Next Gig.
Right.
Okay, so Niall Horan, first gig.
Wow. I was playing like pubs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like acoustic guitar in the pub when I was like 13, 14, just kind of singing pop hits of the time, and a few older like Bob Dylan songs and a few like Beatles tunes and stuff like that. And that was like, I don't even know what the first one was, but it was in the pub in my hometown, whatever that was. There's 26 pubs in a mile, so it could have been any of them.
So you would perform, and then you'd see a fight, presumably.
Yeah, generally there would be a fight just after it. No, I had to leave at a certain time because I was only 14. So I'd have to like do my gig at like 7 and be out by 8, you know, that kind of thing.
That's amazing.
Right, what's next?
Worst gig.
Worst gig ever did?
Yeah.
We always used to talk about the show we did, like it was our first show on our first ever tour with 1D in a place called Watford in the northwest of the city of London. And we basically, everything we did in rehearsals we didn't do on that night. It couldn't have gone any worse if we tried. Every single thing we did wrong, singing wrong lyrics, singing other people's parts. I couldn't even tell you, like missing changes, missing everything. It was just a disaster.
Like flop sweat, like you knew you're not doing
just
well.
Standing on stage just going, do you know what's going on? No, well, either do I.
Best gig of all time. Like one where you're like, this will never happen again.
I've got to say, playing Croke Park, my home stadium in Dublin. It's the biggest stadium you can do. It's like 85,000 people. I remember playing that just because I'd been going to gigs there all my life, and you know, big like U2 and things like that, and going to football games there, and just, you know, being a sports fan. That's our national stadium, you know, kind of like what Sean did with Rodgers. Like that's the thing. So to play that was just absolutely incredible. I just never forget. When playing Wembley Stadium as well, you know, you see the clips of Freddie Mercury and Queen playing Live Aid and stuff like that, and it's just historic. And then you're up there and you're like, what the hell?
What am I doing here?
Yeah. So yeah, I would say either of those were pretty special. Yeah.